word decaying, we're usually talking about something more organic, like wood. I'm trying to think of something else that will decay, but it means that maybe there are insects eating this. Maybe there are other things that are causing it to fall apart like this. If I looked at a sidewalk like this one, I would say it's crumbling. If I looked at a piece of wood, I would probably say it's decaying or falling apart. That would be how I would describe it. But yes, sometimes, wood isn't the greatest thing to have exposed to the elements. Do you know that phrase? When something's exposed to the elements, it means rain and snow and sun can all hit it and cause it to delay faster or decay faster or disintegrating. So crumbling and disintegrating are very similar. But I could use disintegrating to describe this as well. Basically, it's just another version of something falling apart. It's solid and little pieces are starting to fall off of it. It is disintegrating. This wall looks like it's disintegrating. It was probably at one time a really, really nice wall, and now it's starting to fall apart. It's starting to disintegrate. It is disintegrating. Fragile. Sometimes they'll find something that's really, really old, and every time you move it or touch it, it starts to fall apart. It's really, really fragile. I have a really old report card from when I was in kindergarten. So from when I was 5 years old. A report card is where the teacher describes how you're doing in class, but it's really, really fragile. The paper doesn't, if you bend it, it'll start to fall apart. This piece of clothing, obviously it's thousands of years old. You can't wear this anymore. It's probably kept in a special room because it's so fragile. So when something gets old, sometimes it gets very delicate and fragile, and you have to be careful how you move it. And sometimes you can't even touch it. Really, really old books are like this. I think you need special gloves in order to look at an old book, and then when you open it, it's just really fragile. You have to be very careful. Don't drop it, don't bend it, and sometimes don't touch it. Worn and worn out. Yeah, I found two nice chairs for this one. This chair is worn. So worn is a general description for something that's been used a lot and no longer looks the way it looked when it was brand new. This chair is definitely worn, but there's no real holes in it. I think you could still use this chair, but it's definitely worn. This chair, on the other hand, is worn out. You can see there are holes in the bottom part. It's close to falling apart. So hopefully you get the subtle difference. When something is worn, it can still be usable. His shirt was a little worn, but he wears it on Saturdays to do yard work. But when something is worn out, you usually stop using it because it looks like this, holes and everything else. Battered. So I couldn't find a great picture. So this is an AI picture, I think. I don't always use AI pictures, but I think this is one. When something is battered, it means that it gets hit by wind and rain and maybe waves constantly. So if you go and visit a lighthouse, the rocks around the lighthouse will look battered. They'll be rounded a little bit where the water hits them constantly. If you have a house beside the ocean, it probably gets battered with rain and storms, and maybe some salt from the waves even hits it, and it starts to look a little bit worn out. It starts to look battered. So definitely these rocks would be battered, and it looks like even on a really windy day, the lighthouse itself would be battered. In tatters. Now, some of you might think these look like brand new, fashionably awesome jeans, but to me, they look like they're in tatters. When something is in tatters, it means there's holes. We usually use this to describe clothing. If this shirt had like 5 holes, and if this pocket wasn't here and 2 buttons were missing, and there was a big rip in my collar, I would say the shirt is in tatters. It's definitely worn out. I do know that some people wear jeans like some people buy jeans that look like this because they enjoy the look it's fashionable. But for me, when my jeans look like this, I usually say, oh, they're in tatters. There's like little strings hanging off and there's holes everywhere. They are in tatters. Oh, I like this phrase. Sometimes we just say that something has seen better days. This laptop has seen better days. Maybe you're visiting a friend and he has an old car that he doesn't drive anymore. You might say, wow, this car has seen better days. It simply means that a long time ago in the past, this laptop was brand new. This laptop was young and ready to help someone watch YouTube videos. But now it's old and the screen is cracked. It's definitely seen better days. You can use this to describe a house, a car, a computer, almost anything that looks like this, that looks really old. Would we use it to talk about people? Not really. I don't think so. I was trying to think. Yeah, but you could say, oh, that building has seen better days. Like maybe 100 years ago, it looked amazing, but now it doesn't. Ratty. So when something looks ratty, we often use this to describe clothing. You could use it to describe a building, but more so clothing. This shirt looks kind of ratty. Again, I'm assuming this shirt has been worn for a long time and the holes are from wearing it, but maybe this is just a fashionable look right now. But definitely this shirt looks ratty. People's hair can look ratty. Let's say I had long hair and I got up in the morning and it was pointing in all different directions. I hadn't washed it or combed it yet. You can say, oh, your hair looks really ratty this morning. So when something looks ratty, it looks like this. It's a little bit worn out. It has a few holes in it. It's starting to not look so good.